Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of La Jaula del Noob, the podcast where we talk about hacking, cybersecurity, and Osint with amazing guests from around the world. Today, we have a very special guest, Dimitri Danilov, also known as Soxoj. Soxoj is a well-known Osint specialist, famous for his creative methods and valued contributions to the world of open source intelligence. His work has helped security researchers, investigators, and enthusiasts everywhere. In this episode, we will talk about Soxoj's journey into Osint, how he works, the tools he has created, and his thoughts on how Osint is changing in today's digital world. We will also hear his advice and tips for people who want to improve their Osint skills. So get ready to learn from one of the best. This is going to be an amazing episode. Let's get started. Okay, Dimitri, how are you today?
I'm fine. And you?
Yeah, I'm very excited for this new episode of La Jaula del Noob. First, how did you first become interested in Osint, and what drew you this field?
Yeah, that's an interesting story. Yeah, let me maybe start from who I am now. Yeah, and I've connected to how I started. So at the moment, I'm CPO, Chief Product Officer in Social Links. Social Links is the company developing the best, I can say best, software for open source intelligence. And I'm managing product development. So I've started many years ago just as a programmer, software developer, and as many guys, and I'm sure as many our listeners, I was interested what is hacking. Yeah, and in this topic of cybersecurity, I remember my uncle showed me the legendary Russian magazine HECTOR. It's like the different web domain, but it was kind of not easy, but something still very interesting, like piece of art, telling about different stories, how young guys found some vulnerabilities, how they think, how the computers are built, and so on. And it was a big inspiration for me. So since that time, it was my childhood. Yeah, I was interested in this topic, and I started to work as a programmer. Yeah, and later I joined the DevCon community. I think you know what is DevCon community, and probably all our listeners. Yeah, should I tell about it?
Okay, it's very interesting. Can you share your journey of becoming a well-known Osint specialist?
Yeah. I will continue from these DevCon communities then, and yeah, during my participation in DevCon communities, I helped to organize meetups, conferences. We've created different quests. We've participated in other cybersecurity conferences, even international conferences. Yeah, and very slowly I understood that I'm more interested in the investigation side of things. When something happens, yeah, and you have to collect different pieces of information, then to connect them, yeah, to collect some pieces of a puzzle, and then get intelligence, get some insight from it. And I participated in some ARG. I think it was in 2015 or something like that. Yeah, and suddenly I realized that I'm making the big diagram of what we've investigated, yeah, what will be later, and so on, and that I was good in it, and for some reason others was not so good. Yeah, and at that moment I realized that probably investigations and OSINT, that's what I'm interested in, that kind of superpower, and I have to move in this direction. So yeah, I was working in cybersecurity there. I had some experience in anti-fraud, anti-bot things, and now I can say that I'm mostly in a niche of software development for social media intelligence and OSINT around this topic.
Okay. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced while developing your OSINT skills?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I can answer in this way. The most difficult thing was to understand, are you good or not? Because I've started, without an official job, yeah, and I try to compare myself with other public guys. I had no contacts with anyone in like industry in country I lived at that moment, yeah, and it was difficult to understand, am I moving towards right direction or not? Yeah, and it's much more simple now because there are a lot of tutorials, like videos, like 4 or 5 hours explaining what is OSINT, and you can watch it and understand, like, do you understand it or not? Do you need to improve some of your skills and knowledge and so on? But at that time, it was not possible. Yeah, and until like the very to say, yeah, I've spent a few years just, developing these skills for myself as a hobby. And then I just realized that I did something that I can give to other guys and I can educate them. Yeah, and it was an insight for me because I didn't know about it. I can say that it's something actual for many developing industries. If you don't have a benchmark, if you don't have a way to measure how you are good in it, yeah, it's difficult to understand, are you developing yourself, are you growing or not? So for me, it was a big challenge. And I think that for now, like it shouldn't be, because there are a lot of materials in the internet about OSINT.
Okay. Now, what do you consider to be your most valuable learning experience in OSINT so far?
Most valuable learning. Uh, could you name a couple of examples? It's a very difficult question.
Okay.
Some examples.
Okay. Now it's very interesting, this question. What are some of your favorite OSINT tools and why?
Okay, yeah, that's simpler question. Thank you for that. Yeah, I can say that the tool that I'm really inspired of still, yeah, and the tool that I'm telling to anyone who is asking me, like, what's the point to develop something open source, and what's the point to start your path in making some OSINT tools? That's Ghunt. I think everyone knows it. Yeah, that's really a piece of art, piece of technological art. Yeah, that's a result of, I believe, many hours reverse engineering and studying of Google APIs. Yeah, I know that the author, a mix search of Ghunt, he rebuilt it maybe more than one time. Yeah, and I'm truly like proud that this is the guy who I even like seen a couple of times. Yeah, and such projects like Ghunt, well, very technological, very well structured, written, and giving you results. Not making it in a difficult way, but explaining you what can you do, and you're a couple of clicks, yeah, and a couple of like launches, you very quickly get a crucial piece of intelligence, like with Ghunt by Gmail extract many information about the owner of the Google email address. That's really the example of one of the best OSINT tools ever. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay. So can you tell us about some of the tools you've created and how they help the OSINT community?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think that I'm well known as an author of Migrate. That's a tool for search by username. Yeah, I can very quickly tell the story behind it because that's not the tool that I built like totally from the scratch. Yeah, at that moment there were quite a lot of tools searching by usernames. Sherlock was one of the most famous, maybe was most famous already at that time. And one my friend asked me to help him with the OPSEC. So he's kind of hacker, like really, he's anonymous. He's hiding his name from all the possible places. Yeah, and at that time he knew that I'm an OSINT. I'm like can get a lot of information about people, and he asked me, well, could you make a report for me? Try to get my name, my real name, and I didn't use his name at that moment. Yeah, and use anything. I give you permission to use any tools. Yeah, and of course I used a lot of open source tools. Some were not. Yeah, and I tried to search by username, and it was a nightmare for me because I realized that many tools, first of all, have different problems, like just to launch them, to install, to configure, and so on. Some tools are covering like main social medias. Some only like niche ones, and only few of them are related to maybe your region. Yeah, because we have a lot of sites that are very regional. Yeah, and you don't want to search for some African websites, yeah, if you're a guy, a person of interest from like US, for instance. So also I noticed that at that time there were a lot of tools created for marketing purposes, like to check if there are some pages registered for brands. Yeah, but they were used for some reason by all sinters. But they were not intended to give like useful information for that. So yeah, I wrote an article and wrote my thoughts about what's wrong with such tools. I called them name checkers that time. Yeah, and I realized that, okay, I'm a software engineer. I can do some tool by myself. So I forked Sherlock. Yeah, and based on Sherlock, I've started to add new methods, to add new sources. And for now, I can say that Megre is kind of monster. A lot of functionality, very big project. Yeah, honestly, I'm afraid that even that for this reason, it will be fully abandoned because, of course, it's difficult to maintain it. Yeah, but at the same time, I know, I saw and I know that it was an inspiration for many other guys. Yeah, because that's an example how you can take something simple, some simple idea, yeah, and you can add more and more that will deliver you really cool results. And Megre is now built into social links software, into a few other platforms, so they're using it for checking usernames, and that's kind of, for me, the sign of importance of this project. And yeah, that's probably the most famous tool of mine. But of course, I did a lot of like not so important, but still useful tools for different purposes.
Okay. How do you decide which tools to use or build for a specific investigation?
Good question. That's practice. Like as I told about Megre previously, yeah, you're doing something. If you do this 10 times in a day, you understand that you have to automate it. Yeah, and I was an engineer, so I could quickly understand how to do it, yeah. But now when we have LLMs, we have ChatGPT, Claude, yeah, it's very simple now. So if you understand that you do many repetitive things, you can ask LLM to create a script for you that will do it instead of you. So here we go, almost ready to use script for yourself. And of course, so later you can try to release it to public and to make it like open source.
What is your process when starting a new Osint investigation from scratch?
Wow, that's a good question. It really depends on the type of investigation. Maybe now, like the biggest part of things, investigation things that I do, that's some background checks on persons. Yeah, so I'm starting from some my basic tools that could start from username, email address, or phone number, extract some basic information, yeah, some accounts, maybe some records from some databases, and then you can enrich these records if you wish, yeah. But if your goal just to collect basic information, who is this person, like name, maybe location, maybe something else, it could be enough. So my recommendation is really to use some industry top level tools that allows you to start from some point, yeah. And if we talk about investigations of person of interest, yeah, that's definitely Osint Industries, EPOS, Neumacine, the new project, that's the platform similar to Osint Industries and EPOS, and few others, yeah. So they are good enough for you to start, but of course it's only for some person investigations. There are many types, yeah. For instance, social listening investigations, when you have just some topic, some maybe hashtags, some keywords, and you have to study like what's going on in social media, who and what are writing in Twitter, X, yeah, maybe in TikTok, maybe in Instagram. And if you have a different goal, I suggest you to ask AI or to Google like which tool is better for that, and to start from this tool. But be careful and don't believe too many articles recommending paid and expensive tools like Maltiga. I like Maltiga, but it's very expensive, and it's not a good start for everyone. It's a good start for ones who are ready to pay for it.
Excellent. Are there any new techniques or methodologies you are currently exploring?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. At the moment, I'm not actively exploring them, I have to say, because I became a CPO a few months ago, and I'm very involved into like this company activities. But previously, I've started to create how to say it, kind of Wikipedia, but for OSINT methods to collect information, analyze information, to make some conclusions based on it. It's called Sowell, SOWEL.soxoj.com. Yeah, it's not finished 100% complete, but I recommend to all our listeners to open it, to read the structure, because I've collected many methods how to gather information, yeah, how to analyze it, and some of these methods are not obvious at all, yeah, because in many platforms, in many websites, there are some pieces of functionality that we forget about, but they can significantly help in different investigations. For instance, gifts. Yeah, I love this topic specifically because maybe you know that in Telegram, gifts appeared a few months ago, so you can buy a gift for someone, for a friend, for some account, or even for a channel, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and I haven't dig deep in this topic, but I know that Telegram was built on top of VK infrastructure. VK is like a Russian Facebook like platform, and in VK, gifts allowed you to see who sent them. Yeah, so to see connections between people based on gifts that one account sent to another account. Yeah, and that's like some very cool pattern of activity that could help you to reveal the hidden connections between people.
How do you balance privacy concerns with effective Osint investigations?
Very good question. Very good question. So for now, as I mostly work with our internal tools, yeah, I rely on them in terms of like privacy because they're hiding my direct activity, yeah, and it allows me to be more or less invisible. For instance, even with LinkedIn, yeah, I can make some requests and see some accounts without being marked as like someone who's seen profile on LinkedIn. But for everyone who is doing OSINT and concerning about their privacy, yeah, I'm sure it's an important topic how to make a setup with an operational system, with a browser, with sock puppet accounts that will be hiding your real identity. That's important. I think that there are many guides as well for this topic. Yeah, and if you haven't set for you such an environment, still for some reason, I recommend you to do this because at some moment you will realize that it's too late. Yeah, and many information, pieces of information were leaked. So start right now.
What advice would you give to researchers about maintaining ethical standards in OSINT?
That's good. That's good. Well, in my opinion, of course, it's important to have some basic ethical framework. You know, what you're allowed to do for yourself, what's not. Because I know many guys who were started from hacking, yeah, and of course they don't have these borders sometimes, yeah. So they think that, for instance, sending a link, yeah, to a person, so this person will click it, and you will see the IP address of the person is OSINT. It's not. It's basically something similar to phishing, yeah, and it could be named social engineering, but again, not an OSINT. That's how to say it, some action, yeah, that is not at all in the field of open source intelligence. So that's why I recommend to watch a couple of videos highlighting this importance. Yeah, I know that in many OSINT courses, this is a separate topic. Usually it's covered in the beginning. Yeah, I'm not sure about YouTube, how much videos about the ethical side there, but I'm sure that ethical side of cybersecurity at all should like close these gaps for ones who don't fully understand what is ethics, what's allowed, what's not. And obviously, if you will have an experience to work in some serious company, yeah, you will get and you will read some high-level recommendations and requirements for you. Yeah, some maybe standard operation procedures, including some constraints, including some recommendations, and obviously professional materials and professional recommendations should show you how to do it right, yeah, and what's wrong. So yeah, that's what is coming with the practice. So see the videos, read some good literature about it, some good articles, and I hope that it will help you.
The world of deep web and dark web is very polemical, terrific, and interesting. So what are the main differences between conducting OSINT investigations on the surface web versus in the dark web?
That's an extremely cool topic because, like, first I started to think about deep web and dark web maybe like 15 years ago, because it was a topic already at that time, yeah. And I was concerned about um, the literacy of people who don't understand what is dark, what is deep, what is surface web, and they just code everything that is difficult to open the dark web. Yeah, and I've passed this stage when I was drawing diagrams to everyone who I was discussing it, yeah, saying that, hey, that's surface web, hey, that's deep web, yeah, so it's still accessible, but it's not indexed by Google, yeah, and there are some tools to do it, but you can do it manually. And dark web is something that is accessible only with some additional software, because it like some overlay networks, for instance, like Onion network, like I2P, and so on. But then after, yeah, I joined Social Links and I started to work in, professionals in company. I've started to visit many conferences, industry conferences, industry events, and I saw that really not so much guys like do care about what is dark web, what is deep web. The main thing that I suggest to everyone keep in mind and only care about is about the learning curve and this entry threshold. Like to start to study some dark web forums, you have to do a lot of things. You have to install like a Tor browser. You have to realize where to find the name of this website, because it's not something you can find in Google. Yeah, you have to register your account with some like anonymous email address. In some cases, you have to pay to register on this website. In many forums that are publishing breaches, yeah, they require you to register an account and then to earn some reputation, so you will be able to download. Yeah, and in these terms, dark web, deep web, all this like hidden web, that's an area of internet which is highly inaccessible for the ones who are not prepared to do with it. Yeah. So in my opinion, like it's not really important like how to strictly distinguish them. Yeah, but it's important to know that many guys, many people, they are really not technical enough to understand that there is some other browser except Chrome or except like Safari. Yeah, and that's good. It means that we, like Osint specialists, like cybersecurity specialists, we will be paid always, because we know how to install Tor browser or how to use like Tor proxy to access some Onion resource.
Okay. What tools and techniques do you recommend for performing OSINT in the deep web?
Well, honestly, that's a difficult question for me, because again, I'm now working really a lot with our product, and our product of Social Links has integrations with darknet providers who are already, implemented all the methods needed. So I cannot say that I'm a specialist that can share a lot of tricks and tips. I can name a few providers, data providers, which are providing paid access, so it's not free, but still they're very good. And if you're working in a company that have a need to work with dark web, yeah, I recommend you to think about connecting them. That's obviously Constellar Intelligence. That's District 4. District 4 probably the fastest and the best guys who are like collecting data breaches. That's Darko. And Hudson Rock. Hudson Rock are famous due to like their serious approach to collect Stealer logs. So yeah, I recommend you to think about working with these guys with their products.
Okay. How do you verify the authenticity of information found in the deep web?
Uh, well, I can say that all pieces of information gathered from open sources should be verified, should be validated. Yeah, and information from darknet is not different. Yeah, of course, it depends on the source, and some sources like um, some anonymous image boards, yeah, in darknet, they're not trustable at all, and all the information should be verified. So if you have in like your pockets some methods, some tools that allow you to cross-check different pieces of information, to maybe understand how to extract metadata, yeah, to verify the authenticity of the file or something, or web page, yeah, you are studying, that's good, and that's needed, not only for dark web sources.
Now, what trends do you see emerging in the use of Osint for monitoring criminal activity in the deep web?
Uh, I'm not a specialist, as I said. Yeah, I definitely see that many new leaks and many providers are collecting like data feeds from different places, from darknet forums, marketplaces, from maybe like some image boards again. Yeah, and when something happened, yeah, you shouldn't open like your browser and search in some Omnia. I forget how exactly this dark web Google named. Yeah, you shouldn't do it. You can just search by keyword in these providers. Yeah, again, like a dark hole or I forgot the name of other provider who are also giving you access to some feed of data from darknet. You can search by keywords and you will find some posts, and maybe you will find some fresh posts with information about some event. Yeah, so this approach, I believe, is very useful. It's not a big trend, yeah, but still.
Okay. The use of AI is enough common in actuality. We have seen some tools for cybersecurity that use you, but at the case of OSINT, how do you think AI is changing the way OSINT investigations are conducted?
I think that the impact of AI will be very huge on all industries, not just Osint. And obviously, it will be most impactful where you have to spend much time and where you have to spend a lot of your cognitive resources to make something simple. For instance, to make a report, yeah, let's be honest, that's a thing that many OSINT analysts don't like at all, yeah, but that's the most important part, because that's a part of communication of your results, of the intelligence you got, of all the information, and the way how you transformed this information to intelligence, communication of it to like your stakeholder, yeah, who asked you for this report. And obviously AI could not do it for you, but AI could simplify this process. We in social links, yeah, now working on implementing AI like technologies in different steps of OSINT intelligence cycle, also for making reports. I know that a few companies on the market already did it, yeah, and I saw like a 100-page report of corporate like investigation, and it was fully prepared by AI. Yeah, and of course, it was not this kind of report where you're searching for some very unique piece of information. It was more like a due diligence report with information about everything collected with red flags, yellow flags, and so on. But it's working already. I mean, like AI for Osint is working and started to transform the industry. Let's see what will happen.
Okay. Can you request some of your most interesting experiences by making Osint researches?
Some cases with interesting experience. Yeah. Let me think. Yeah, that's my pain, honestly, because I have a few very cool cases, yeah, but I'm not telling usually publicly about them because they're private, yeah, as many of us cannot, because we are not allowed to tell about these cases. Cases that are really interesting, yeah, I've shared in few of my previous talks on different conferences. Yeah, I remember a cool case, not really mine, yeah, but it was about OSINT with a mix of cybersecurity, yeah, and in fact, the goal was to understand who is behind the account in some forum, yeah, and it was not obvious how to extract this information. So what investigators knew, they knew that this account was registered on some email address and the target was this email address. How to get it? Yeah, and obviously you cannot get it without getting access to database of this website. Yeah, because this email address is not displayed on the account web page of this forum. But after like a quick cybersecurity study, yeah, some penetration testing attempts, these guys realized that the web page contains some XSS vulnerability, meaning that if you will open someone's account page on this forum, and if you are logged in, some JavaScript will be launched. Yeah, and the most interesting piece of information that you have an access to your email address. That's obvious. Yeah, because like you are the owner of this account, and with some very tricky HTTP request to server, you can get this email address because you're allowed to do it. Yeah, and what these investigators did, yeah, they implemented some very smart script that was put at the field with XSS. It was field of, for instance, ICQ number, yeah, and everyone who opens this page, he is running this script. This script sending information about the email address of the who is clicked it, yeah, and this script is copied into the account of this guy, yeah. So this is avalanche of infection by this smart script. It was not a hacking attempt, obviously, yeah. It was kind of very tricky, not social engineering as well, but still. So it was a method to get more and more people with this script in their pages. Yeah, and at some moment, of course, the person of interest whose email address was interesting for investigators, he clicked on some account of some of these guys, yeah, and his email address was leaked, yeah, and the goal was achieved. So it was beautiful. It's something, again, in between of OSINT, cybersecurity, yeah, and I do not recommend to repeat it. This is like the story from my imagination, just in case, yeah, but there were more stories like that, yeah, and maybe at some moment I will write somewhere some article about them.
Okay. How do you see OSINT evolving in the next 5 to 10 years?
It's a difficult question because the industry is transforming. From one hand, as we discussed with you, we see that AI can significantly increase the speed of investigations. You can quickly analyze a lot of unstructured data. You can quickly make reports, make conclusions. Yeah, but at the same time, there are more and more artificially generated content. Maybe you've heard this internet legend about that internet and the theory that many content pieces in the internet is generated by bots and they are not real humans. Yeah, and I'm afraid that it will be the real state of internet in a couple of years. Maybe not, yeah, but it depends on the decisions of governments, of big companies, and of course it will depend on our decisions, yeah, because social media, first of all, is the place for people to use, and if people will stop using it, yeah, or if the model of social media will change to some other model, so maybe we won't have such effects.
How do you see the role of social media involving in Osint investigation?
Yeah, as I said previously, I'm more specialized on social media intelligence. So for me, it's a crucial part of it. Yeah, because almost everyone has social media account. If you're not, you probably anyway has some registrations on some sites, on some platforms, on some mobile apps. It means that your phone number, your email address is linked to some entity, to some account somewhere. And even if you are not making manually these registrations, example that I love to tell about, that some bonus cards and some, when you're buying something in the shop, yeah, for instance, clothes, yeah, and someone is suggesting you to create not an account, yeah, to get some discount, yeah, and this discount you can get only giving them an email address, yeah, and you are putting some email address in their system, or right there in the shop, but you don't know what they will do with this email address. Maybe they will put it in some database, and then they will send you email informing you that they changed the conditions and they are now allowed to use your email address to create some accounts on your behalf, yeah, and then you suddenly can realize that there is an application, mobile application of this shop, yeah, and you have an account there. And of course, this example shop is not pretty scary, yeah, but I've heard that similar stories exists in US with medical insurance, when you haven't created account, but you have it because some employees and some processes in this industry push someone to create all these accounts, to automate something and so on. Therefore, role of social media, of some websites, yeah, where you're registering, where you're leaving some traces, this role is pretty high. Yeah.
Okay. How do you find the location of images or videos online with good precision?
Geospy. Geospy. I recommend to use Geospy, but of course, topic of image geoint, that's pretty interesting topic. And when I've founded Osint Mindset community, yeah, I've realized that there are a lot of guys, their minds, configured to do such type of tasks, not specifically geolocate, but to start from some image and analyze what's on this image, how to extract useful information, and so on. And I recommend to everyone who is not afraid of Russian language to visit Osint Investigation Forum in Telegram. That's a forum of Osint Mindset community. And we have there a lot of different tasks, like to train your skills, yeah. And the tasks of geolocation are ones like most interesting. And we even have a Google map where we put locations of all the tasks that were on our forum. And I've asked my guys a week ago, yeah, and there are like 200 different geoins that were successfully solved by participants of these forums. So yeah, you can of course foster your skills to do it manually. There are a lot of guides. There are perfect tools like Overpass Turbo. Yeah, and I recommend to everyone who is interested in GeoInt to understand what is OpenStreetMap, how to work with this information. But there are some like killer tools like GeoSpy, and don't forget about them because they save a lot of time.
Can you share a case where geolocation was very important for your investigation?
Well, basically, most of cases that I have connected to my job, they are crucial because of the geolocation. We, as a company, Social Links, yeah, have different clients from like law enforcement entities, and of course, for police guys to find a criminal. That's the main goal. Not just to collect info, but to understand where he is now, yeah, and how to catch them. And for that, even one photo in Facebook can help you, because this guy posted this photo thinking that, well, that's just a tree and that's just a house. How is it possible to understand where exactly it's located? And many guys, they are not concerned at all about like revealing such traces. And obviously they failed, yeah. I can maybe tell you about one case. That's a case of cryptocurrency scam startup, and founder of this startup collected a lot of money, yeah, and then moved to some country. And of course, guys who gave him this money were interested where he is, this founder, and they asked to investigate. And basic, very superficial investigation had shown that this founder, he was just publishing Telegram stories where he's surfing, and on the background some like very well-known, well-recognized buildings, and it helped to understand exactly where he is. And he's still posting this video, so he's not so careful, but he's still not in prison, so maybe it's okay.
Okay. How do you combine different types of data to improve your geolocation results?
Again, very cool question. I will suggest you to visit the encyclopedia of GeoInt methods. It's called GEWEL, GEWEL. You can just Google it and find. My good friend structured, systemized a lot of methods and how to combine them. Yeah, that's really like a gold piece of information, and I recommend to everyone study it if you are interested in how to combine different methods and use them for geolocation.
Okay. Now, how do you find locations from deep web or dark web information?
I think the principle is the same. Well, so if we're talking about images, then yes. But like mostly in my cases, many pieces of information from different places are connected. So you can start from a username of an account in the darknet, but you can find a connection of this username with specific email address, and you can find a leaked password from this email address, from the account registered on this email address. And then by this password, you can find another account also used this password. yeah, and it will be an email address of his real identity. So the crucial, as for me, yeah, in my opinion, crucial part of investigations are to understand how all this type of information is connected, yeah, and what's possible, what's not, what's the highly likely scenario, yeah, and if you will start practicing, if you will use some professional tools, you will quickly understand how to do it.
What advice would you give to beginners who want to start learning Osint?
Yeah, I think the most honest advice: listen yourself, understand what's more interesting for you. Are you interested in really investigation? Maybe you're interested in some cybersecurity aspects of it. Yeah. Maybe you're interested in making tools, like I was interested in the beginning. Yeah. So my honest advice: be honest with you, understand what are you liking, and start building your skills from it. Because every job, every hobby should be something pleasant for you, first of all. Yeah. And if you will be just copying someone's actions, if you will be pretending to be like some OSINT specialist, but you don't like it, like what's the purpose? What's the goal of it? Yeah. So I believe that it's very critically important to be honest with you and to do what you like.
Now, what books do you recommend for people who want to learn OSINT? Are there any that you consider essential for beginners or even advanced researchers?
Yeah, Michael Bassel, obviously. Yeah, that's must read for everyone. I have a few more books that I think are very good. Yeah, but honestly, books are not enough. Yeah, so the strong theory, that's obviously like the important part of all skills, because without knowledge, it's not possible like to understand what to do. Yeah. um, I recommend to Google and to find some books. Yeah, because when you're starting a search, you start to analyze, you start to compare different sources. In fact, you will be doing OSINT. You will be collecting information, analyzing it, synthesizing some conclusions based on it. So you will start practicing. Let's do.
Okay. Well, so thank you so much, Dimitri, for joining us today on La Jaula del Noob. It was amazing to hear you thoughts and knowledge about OSINT, your location, and the role of AI in investigations. Your experience and tips are truly valuable for everyone, from beginners to experts. Before we end, is there anything you would like to share with our audience? And where can people find you and your work online?
Okay. Yeah. First of all, it was an honor for me to be a guest in your podcast. Your guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you a lot. Yeah. I have to say as well, just in case, that I was speaking solely on my own behalf, and I was not representing the official position of Social Links company. Yeah, that's an important thing. You can find me in many places. I'm posting in Twitter, in Telegram, in LinkedIn. I recommend you the Telegram channel Soxoj Insights, because I usually post more there. Yeah, I want maybe to add one more thing, that I'm going to start a project called OSINT Dev Incubator. That's my initiative to help to everyone who's making new tools, OSINT tools. So if you have an idea, or you already have some scripts, or you automated and made some framework, yeah, I'm ready to help you with making it more useful, with making it more attractive, with finding users for your tool, and maybe with some promotion. I did it already for a few guys. Yeah, I'm happy that I can share my experience and help to people like me. Yeah, because finally, what are we doing? We're pushing towards the industry. We are giving tools, we are giving ideas, we're helping to professionals to do their job. And I'm really sure that Osint, as a methodology applied to different industries, different areas, is useful everywhere. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Please follow me. You can write me in Telegram, even in DM. I will try to answer you. I cannot promise that I will answer to everyone, like my time is limited. But yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Again, thank you for your time, and we hope to have you back on the show in the future. Take care and keep inspiring the Osint community. Y muy bien, esto fue La Jaula del NUB.